This is Linda Marston-Reid, and she is head of Arts Mid-Hudson.
Thanks, Trevor. One of the things we do is we work throughout the Mid-Hudson region, ergo our name, but one of the most important things we do is we provide services for artists, and we want to make sure that the artistic community continues to thrive and grow. And so what could be better than helping an artist get their paintings out in the public eye and helping them sell it, helping them get recognition for their work, and all of this is a building type of a thing. So I was thrilled when I saw Trevor's work several years ago, and the first thing I thought of when I saw his work in this big barn was, oh my goodness, I need to find a place to put this that has a grand scale. And so one of the places that we do curating of small exhibits is here at the Artist Palate in Poughkeepsie. And as everybody can see, Trevor's work is magnificent in here. We have a very sophisticated looking space. They serve beautiful food. And this work exemplifies all of those things. But this work also has something that this restaurant will never have, and that is the artistic passion that comes from these paintings.
I'm very passionate about my art, as you can see, and it is passionate art, and I'm passionate about food. The food is fabulous here, really great. This is called Raucous Cry of Parrots, and it's a painting that is actually the screaming of parrots in the jungle. That's what inspired it. It was after I had gotten back from a trip, and I thought that would be kind of a great thing to do. The colors actually are very reminiscent of the colors in the jungle. I was down in the Amazon actually, and this is actually what the Amazon represents to me. It's rather a large piece, and it has a lot of depth, as you can see. This is mixed media. It's gouache, it's watercolor, it's acrylic and oil, and ink.
I can absolutely see the parrots flying around, the movement of the brush, the colors of the feathers, all of these things, the light peeping through as the forest is moving. I mean, that's one of the most exciting things about his paintings is there's a sense of place, and you don't even need to know where the place is. You just sense that you're in a place.
When this was first time, Megan, who was one of the owners of the restaurant, said this was one she really, really loved, and I was very flattered by that. It's actually in the entrance of this rather large restaurant, and it affords me a very good place to hang large work. So this painting here is called Chinese New Year, and it's for obvious reason, I think. The way I always ask people to think of abstraction is if you are not a visual person, think of a sound, or think of a taste, or use any of your senses that you are most keen. This one, to me, obviously sounds like a ton of firecrackers, and it is actually flat paint, so it has no gloss at all. So it's not the visual, other than the gestural, that's producing that kind of bang, bang, bang kind of feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at this painting, the first thing I think of is explosions, and a lot of it is the hot color, and as well as the hot gestural flinging of the paint, and there's so much action in this, and then the explosions are going out. It's fabulous.
I had a lot of fun doing this painting. Again, this one has depth to it. The reason these last two paintings have such depth is that the person who was doing the framing actually made a mistake when I was measuring the canvases, and he actually ran the boards the wrong way. And I said, well, that's fine, we'll wrap the canvas and it'll be great. And I've done a lot of wrapped canvases since.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting the use of neon light colors in this really makes the colors all pop. So again, it pop connotes in your mind sound, and the colors seem loud and hot and fiery. So
Exactly.
it's a very exciting painting.
I never sign the front of my paintings unless I'm asked to, because it gives the benefactor, not the word I want, not benefactor, no,
Collector.
The collector. Okay. It gives the collector the choice of running it horizontal or vertical. And I know that may sound kind of strange, but there's no reason abstracts, to me, should necessarily have one direction. This can be turned any one of four ways, and I have a hard time deciding which way to hang it. This painting is approximately 16 feet, I believe, by about 5 feet.
Yeah.
And the depth is about 4 or 5 inches. It's rather a large piece.
That's the other exciting thing about when an artist like Trevor chooses to work large, it's very difficult to find places that can accommodate that size of work. And by designing your work so it can go in either direction, horizontally or vertically, that's brilliant.
Okay, we were just joking about lighting, and when I was working in TV, Quentin Chris said to me, if all the world's a stage, I want better lighting, and that's exactly what we want right now. This is a series of paintings called Joy, and this is one of about 8 paintings. They were exhibited in Hudson at the McDarris Gallery, and they fit this restaurant very well.
Well, they definitely make me feel joyful when I see this, because the colors, again, Trevor is a colorist. He's a master of color. He knows how to work the color. He knows how to put colors together. So when they hit the canvas, it might look very casual, but I know that he has a color map in his head that is a genius level. So, putting the pink next to the red, next to the orange, green, yellow, all these colors, again, there's a lot of kinetic feeling in this, and it does bring you a sense of joy.
I could listen to her speak about my work all day, but then we won't get the other paintings in. This is another of the series of Joy that we were just speaking about. And this is Linda right now, who's going to speak even more eloquently about my work.
Well, I love that you work in series. So obviously, I would imagine that Trevor has all of these canvases set up in his barn where he paints, and he has the paint out and he just starts working, and he's so on fire with this passion and an idea that he continues 2, 3, 4, and they are all different. And that's what's really amazing about this, is it's a series called Joy, which means you could look at 10 paintings in this series and they would all have the same feeling, but they would all be separate and individual. So in this one, he uses similar colors that we saw before, the really hot colors. I love the fact that you can see some of the colors coming through in layers. So for instance, and again, I mentioned before that Trevor is an expert colorist. If you look at red and green on a color wheel, they are exact opposites. So anytime an artist places red and green together, it almost causes your eye to jump around. But here he's got something really casual and cool going on, where he has the brush just kind of moves across it, so you still see the red underneath the green, but the effect is the same. It's red and green popping against each other. And then there's the orange, the brush strokes, the drip. You can just, again, feel the energy pulsating off of this painting.
And even though this series is called Joy, it doesn't necessarily mean I was feeling joyful at the time. What happens very often is I may do some of my best work when I'm the least joyful, but something takes over that's not part of me. I don't know what that is, but it definitely guides me, because I started out with a series once. I wanted it to be caution yellow. I was interested in doing yellow series. It ended up with no yellow in it at all that was exposed. I don't know why, but they were a great series.
that's, it's interesting that you would say that, Trevor, because I know I talk to a lot of artists, and a lot of artists find solace in going to their studio and expressing their feelings. And in order to do that, a lot of times artists can't describe in words or writing what those feelings are, but obviously, you can describe in paint and canvas what a feeling of joy is, and that's definitely what we're looking at here.
I had very recently, a very close friend of mine had a rather serious tragedy in her life, and I said, just paint. And she did, and actually she had a very successful show with some work, and I love her very much. And if you're watching this, it's for you.
Well, to wrap up, this is just one of the joyful things that Arts Mid-Hudson gets to do on a daily basis. I love my work, and I feel very honored that every day I get to do this work. I get to work with artists. I get to work with arts organizations, community people who want art in their place. It goes across all venues. Kids that are learning how to be artists, a lot of times will ask me, how do I get my work out in a place like this? And I said, well, somebody like Trevor obviously has a career as an artist, but if you are starting out, there are places for you to show your work, and it's really important for you to show your work because it's going the full cycle. When the artist comes up with an idea and then they go into their studio and they make the work, the full cycle comes when it goes out into the world, and people get to see it, and it becomes an entity that people get to enjoy. So I appreciate artists. I feel like we are so blessed that they are in our community, and we need to make sure that they stay in our community, and that's what Arts Mid-Hudson is all about.
We are a mutual admiration society.